So I've been making videos for about 5 or 6 years now, specifically astrology videos, and I don't ever go into the process that I go through to make these videos and all of the behind the scenes production that it takes to make the videos that I do. So today I want to do something a little bit different, and I wanted to show you guys my setup so you guys can, if there's content creators out there or other people that do video and want to make a better setup, want to have better production quality, and you like what I do, I wanted to make this video for you guys so you can kind of see everything. And this took me a really long time to get here. I started off by using my phone and using my car and a notebook as like a stand and shooting outside. And it's taken me 5 or 6 years to get everything that I have here in the setup that I have. So this video is not supposed to be like a budget-friendly setup. This is everything that I've put all of my money into and all my hard work into. So the reason I'm doing this again is just to show you guys, what is possible, what goes into this stuff. And maybe if you are a creative and if you are, or if you do video for work, maybe this can show you a little bit of insight as to how to get your production quality better, or, giving you different ideas for what your setup can be. Because as a YouTuber, I'm all about watching other people's setups. So the first thing that I want to go into is Ecamm Live. So Ecamm Live is the biggest thing that does all of this. Ecamm Live is a software that I use to produce all of these videos. It's not free. It costs about, I believe, $280 per year. But while that is pretty expensive, this is something that, like, if they doubled the price, I wouldn't even question it and I'd pay for it again because it makes my life so much easier. There are free softwares like OBS, and I believe there's another one too, but I didn't like OBS because it was really complicated. It made it very hard for me to, figure out how to get the setup, versus Ecamm just made it super, super easy to record, to stream, to put my little graphic here in the corner and everything like that. So let me just show you Ecamm real quick. So as you can see, this is what my screen looks like on my computer. I have a couple different little windows here. Let me actually open up a few more of them, and I'll show you everything that's kind of going on in it. So what's awesome about Ecamm is it's a lot of different things. For one, I'm recording on this, right? As you can see right here, it says pause finish, and there's this little recording number up here. Not only can I record with this software, but if I wanted to, I could stream directly to YouTube, to Twitch, to Facebook, Instagram, all of that stuff. And I can schedule it live while I'm in here. I won't be able to show you that right here, right now. However, a few other things is if you look at this, these three icons here in the corner, you'll notice that there's camera, and I could choose a few different cameras. I have my EOS R, which I'll go into in a second. I can do a iPhone camera if I wanted to, but that chooses my camera. However, if I click this will actually go into whatever application I have. Let me actually do this. So maybe this isn't a good example because you can't see anything here, but I could show whatever screen I want to. So let's actually go back to this. Actually, I don't want to do this. I want to do current application. Let's just open AstroGold up. So AstroGold is the primary astrology software I use. And as you can see, I could put it here, have this up, and then what I can do is also do this. I can add the box of myself here, and I can make myself smaller, bigger, whatever. And then what I would probably do is this. There we go. This is much better. So I can do a hotkey, and I can go from this camera to my AstroGold software with just a touch of a button. Now, what makes this so incredible for me is I use Zoom a lot. I'm always in client readings or, joining Zoom sessions, and I can stream my Zoom session from my Ecamm. So instead of on the Zoom where if you want to share your screen, if I wanted to show this chart, you can only share the screen and I can't put myself in the box there, versus I can do everything through Ecamm and it just goes through Zoom automatically. So that's one of the biggest selling points to me for this. Also, if you look at this icon box here, this says overlays. And as you can see, I have my logo icon right here, and this is an all scene. So I can always have my logo in the top, the top right corner. If I wanted to, for example, I have I did an astrology picnic and I had a flyer for it. I can pick up and drag this flyer and just put it right here in the middle of recording. I can make it bigger, I can make it smaller, and I can exit out of it if I don't want it. I can choose different microphones. If you look at this bottom left corner right here where the audio is, this is, the microphone I've set up, which I'll be going into in just a minute. I can do echo cancellation. I can mute it if I want to. And then we have scenes, and scenes is really, really powerful. And I'm going to show you how I really integrate scenes into my workflow once I show you the green screen setup. But this is what allows me to, if you have watched my weekly horoscopes before, and I'll put a little bit of a B-roll, if you've seen me, have the green screen and click a button and it just changes the background, that's because of scenes. And what I can do, and I'll be going into this in a minute, is I can make a keynote lecture, export it as images, and put the files in here. In fact, the files actually upload automatically. And as long as I have these hotkeys, as you can see, it's X, Z, Q, A, W, S, E. Those are my hotkeys for each different day. Automatically all set up so where when I do my green screen, weekly horoscopes, it's a breeze to do. So the other thing that's really powerful about this setup, and this is going to be going into the camera setup that I have in a minute, is C-Log. So if you are a videographer, you probably are aware of what log is, but if you're not aware what log is, the specific camera I have has a profile that it could shoot on where it turns everything flat. Watch, let me change the setting here. So you notice how everything goes flat. This is how my camera setup is, or my camera settings are. What log is a very flat profile to where you can go into post and edit it, and you can, raise the blacks and the whites and the contrasts and all of this stuff to make it look better. But what Ecamm allows me to do is stream through my camera on a log setting, but then I can select LUT. And what a LUT is essentially like an Instagram filter is probably the easiest way to do it. There we go. Ecamm LUTs. I do the nighttime LUT, and then once I click that and it enables, the image gets better. And so this allows me to do really high grade cinematic quality video while having all of the editing options already on top of there. This is also the place where I can do green screen. Notice that there's a green screen check mark here. When I hit this button, watch what happens to the background. So I just hit the number X. The X is my hotkey to go to my green screen slides. And you can see the plant here in the corner is green. My green screen thing is rolled up, and so that turns a little bit fuzzy. And so this doesn't look good right now, but this just shows that I can just, with the click of a button, go from green screen to, a normal video setting. So this is very, very powerful. I can add images when I have, for example, when I do live streams on my Patreon, I can grab a comment from the live stream and I can add it here, and I could put it on top of the video, and I could talk about whatever comment that is as it comes in live, because there's also this comment box right here. And of course, there's nothing going to be in here right now because I'm in recording mode. But that's just a little bit of what Ecamm can do. It's very, very powerful. It's, again, $280 a year, so it is pretty pricey, but I have found so much value in it, and my whole workflow depends on Ecamm. So now that I've talked a little bit about the software behind this, I want to talk about the camera. So I'm using a Canon EOS R. This is, one of their first mirrorless cameras. If you are looking for a camera to buy, and if you are in this market, I would really recommend buying a mirrorless camera and not a DSLR. DSLRs are slowly starting to get phased out, and while they might be a little bit cheaper, if you are in the business of recording video and specifically using a computer to record, mirrorless is going to be your best option, because this is being streamed just through a Thunderbolt cord, a USB-C cord. So some DSLR cameras have like a graphics card that you have to put in, and it becomes kind of complicated to get it all set up. But because this is a mirrorless camera, I can just plug in this USB-C cord, specifically a Thunderbolt cord, because the Thunderbolt allows the camera to charge. So in some cases, Canons, the battery will die, or you can't record after 30 minutes. So sometimes you'll use a dummy battery that plugs into the wall to, get a longer charge. But with the Thunderbolt, the camera is charging as it's also being used. So the camera is turned on, and I'm not recording through the camera. I'm recording through the software, but I'm using the camera like a webcam. And so that's what really allows me to be able to get this set up like a breeze. So I'm using the Canon EOS R. I bought it because it was, the first of the line of the mirrorless series, and it shoots in 4K. There's a 4K crop. I believe it costs now, I bought it for like $2,500, and I believe it's going for about $1,700 right now. Again, you don't really need the best camera ever, and this necessarily isn't the best camera ever. However, for what it is, I absolutely love it, and I would totally recommend it for people. However, it's definitely something to work a little bit more towards if this is your first time getting a camera setup. So the lens I'm shooting on is actually probably more important. This lens was really, really expensive, and it took me a really long time to get because I had to work really hard and get enough money to buy it. The lens that I'm shooting on is a prime R lens, so it's for I believe it is the RF glass. So there's glass. There are lenses that are made for DSLR cameras, and there are lenses that are made for these mirrorless cameras. Canon just put these out, and these are very expensive lenses. I believe this lens costs somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,500. In fact, it costs more than the camera itself. And the reason why I put the money on that, let me also, say too, for a long time I recorded on a $100 lens. I had this camera for a long time. I've had it for about 2 years, but I've only had this lens for a few months. I was recording on the EF 24 millimeter lens that only cost like $100, and that lens was also really good with this camera setup. However, that lens was not built for this camera, so I had to use an adapter, and it came with this crop. The reason I bought this lens is it's a 24 millimeter, so I have this wide range of exposure all the way up to 80 millimeters. So I could zoom in really close on my face and get this really nice blurry background. And I don't use the 80 millimeter setup that much. However, it's nice to have the versatility as a content creator to be able to have these really wide shots and have these really awesome portrait shots for it. So it was a lot of money, but it is an awesome lens, and this lens was built for this camera, so it works really well. And there's a ton of other features on this lens that I don't really use, but I also really, again, just enjoy the lens. So I bought a tripod stand, and this tripod stand, I got this from Caleb over at DSLR Video Shooter. I get a lot of tips from how to shoot from Caleb. He's an awesome content creator. Shout out to him. And this was something that he recommended. It was pretty much this tripod head connected to a pole, connected to a monitor stand. And so what this allows me to do is be able to move my camera and adjust it really wherever I want to. And it's all connected to my desk. So I'll be going into the desk in a minute, but this desk is mobile. It's on casters, so I can move it around. And so with this setup, I don't have to worry about a tripod getting moved around every single time I want to move my camera. It's all connected to my desk. So it makes it very easy, and the stands were pretty cheap. So what's more important than the video, in my opinion, is the audio. And now we get to start talking about my microphone setup. I am shooting with, or I should say I'm recording with, a Shure SM7B. Most people have recognized this microphone. It's quite iconic. A lot of big podcasters use it. It's a wonderful microphone. It costs about $400. I use it for vocal recording when I'm recording tracks, as well as for my podcasts and for my YouTube videos. Now, this is being shot, this is the SM7B, and I have it on what is called the Elgato low profile mic arm. So mic arms are so hard to find that are really good. The one that most people have is the Rode one. The Rode one is like this, big like desk clamp, like light kind of setup, and it's always in your shots and everything like this. I bought a low profile one, so it goes underneath my monitor, and it's not in my recordings. Notice that there's no, mic arm right here, and you can't really see anything. That's the low profile arm. This is metal, and this only costs $100. Most mic arms cost $100, but the quality of this mic arm is insane. I was so blown away by this mic arm. I absolutely love it. It's really high quality stuff. But I have the microphone connected to the mic arm, of course. But then the secret sauce of getting the good audio quality is going to be this DBX 286S. And if that sounds overwhelming because you don't know anything about audio, let me explain. What this is the thing that makes it sound good, essentially, right? A microphone is just a microphone, but this is what compresses my sound. So compression is pretty much when I have, I speak very, I have a wide range of speaking. Sometimes I'm really loud, sometimes I'm really quiet. This compresses all of that to a neat single file to where it's not all over the place and everything sounds pretty even. But more importantly, not only does this have a compressor on it, but it has a de-esser on it. So my S's don't sound violent. They don't sound crazy. It also has a voice enhancer, so it makes my voice sound better. It also has an expander, and it has a gate on it. So what that means is when I'm not talking and there's that silence, the mic cuts. But when I start talking, the mic opens up to where you're not getting any of the background noise. And so I want to show you what it sounds like with all of this processing. This is what we would call processing. And so a lot of people might do this in post, like they'll record a video and send the audio to an audio editor or audio engineer. This does all of that work for you live. And so this is what it sounds like without all of the processing. This is just the gain up. Also, this microphone takes a lot of gain, so it needs that. So this is what it would sound like without the processing. And then once I hit the processing button, this is what it sounds like with all of the audio together. So it's really great. This DBX 286S is then connected to my audio interface. This is the thing that connects the microphone to the computer. The compressor doesn't do that. The compressor just makes the audio sound better. But then it goes through this audio interface. realistically, you can buy any audio interface. It really doesn't matter. If you have this mic and this, compressor setup, it's going to sound good no matter what. And the audio interface isn't nearly as important. But I bought the Motu M2. It was only $200 or maybe like $250. I really like it. Most audio interfaces that are this level are around this price. So, you might be able to find an audio interface that's $100, but it's $250. I don't mind it. I bought it because it has the screen on it and I can see, when I'm clipping, when I'm hitting my max volume. But it's very simple. It's very easy and not that bad. So now we go into lighting. So this is just for my desk setup, by the way. I'm also going to be talking about my green screen setup here in just a minute. But what I'm using for lighting on my desk is I'm using the Amaran 100D. So the Amaran is a cheaper quality version of aperture lights. Aperture lights are usually standard in the industry. Amaran is a much more affordable light. I believe I only spent $200 on it. It gets bright enough for me. It's also has Bluetooth capability, so I can connect it to my iPad and change the lightings from sitting down, so I don't have to get up and do any of that stuff. It's really affordable, and then it's on a softbox. So it took me lighting is so important with video, and it took me forever to figure out how lighting works. And what I've learned is you want a softbox. The bigger the box, the wider it is. And so notice the lighting on me right now. The lighting is really nice and soft. It goes all over my face, yet also creates a little bit of a shadow right here. And that's all from the soft lighting box. A soft box just makes it very soft on the face. The softbox, I believe, cost like $60. I might be wrong on that, but it was generally affordable, and it completely changed my lighting setup. And that is also on a stand that clamps to my desk. So everything that you see here, my speakers, my camera, my light, is all connected to my desk, to where the only thing that's on the ground are the desk stand, the actual desk legs and the casters. Speaking of the desk, this desk is, I believe, the Husky Workbench. I'll send a link. I'll have a link in the description below. By the way, all the links that I have, I'm not an affiliate with any of this stuff. I didn't have the time to make it, so I'm not going to make any money if you click this stuff. So don't worry about that, I guess. But anyway, I have a Husky Workbench. I bought it on Home Depot. It was like $280. And if you've been shopping for desks, you understand how expensive they get. Why I bought this one is, again, from Caleb from DSLR Video Shooter. He has a lot of great content on desk buildups, and a lot of, this was inspired by his videos. But this is a workbench on casters, right? So there's not a lot of, desks that are on wheels. So I can move this around and have different YouTube setups for whenever I want to do something different. But this is also an adjustable height desk. Now, the catch is it's not electric. And so I have a hand crank right here that I can crank up and down. And I love that, because sometimes I like to do standing up stuff and sometimes I like to do sitting down. And I don't want to shell out the extra $400 just for an electric push button when I can just do it by hand. $280. It's 6 foot long. It is a huge desk. It doesn't have the depth that I would like. It feels a little bit short, but it's very long, and I could spread all my stuff out, which is how I work best, when I can kind of make a little bit of a mess and have the room to do that. So again, it was like $280. I fucking love this desk. It's really strong. It holds up all of this stuff, and it's on wheels. You really can't beat that for the price. There's not a desk like that out there for this price range. That brings us to the chair that I'm sitting on. So this is a low-key flex. If you know this chair, you get it. This is not a cheap chair. However, in my business, I do a lot of sitting down, right? And I have gone through so much research into what are the best chairs. And for last year, I had bought a drafting chair, which a drafting chair is made for architects. You can lift the arms up. It's really big and squishy, and I really enjoyed it. But what I didn't like about it was it gave me very bad posture. And when I was sitting down a lot, I was hunched over and I was, feeling very uncomfortable. This chair is the Hog Capisco chair. I think that's how you say it. Long story short, it's some company, I think in like Switzerland or something like that. I don't remember where, somewhere in Europe, that makes, very ergonomical stuff. This chair was like $1,000. I'm too cheap, and I can't believe I spent that money on this chair. But what's amazing about this chair, and I'll have a link to it from the artist who made it, is that I could sit on it in multiple ways, and it's designed for good posture. It's apparently designed to be sat in like a horse saddle. So my legs are going down. It's not compressing my back. But not only could I sit on it like this, but I could sit on it sideways and lean over when I want to be casual. Or if I'm doing a lot of video, I could then throw it forward, and then I can lean forward on it. the way I look at it is investing in things that are going to be good for your health long term is good, and that's why I bought this chair. However, yeah, it's not going to be for everybody, but I absolutely love this chair, and if you can afford it, I believe it is going to be a great purchase to help your back out. And this took me super long to find this chair. Like, there's not a lot of good information out there about chairs and posture, especially for desks. And if you're into like the standing desk thing, this chair also gets raised all the way, so you can switch from standing to sitting really, really easy. I love this chair. So that brings me back to software. So the only software I really use is AstroGold. It is a professional astrology software. I have a lot of conflicting feelings about it, so I really can't sit here and give it, praise or just negativity. But let me at least give you a little bit of my feelings about it. So the reason I use it is that it's pretty much the only software for Mac that is good. There are things like Luna Astrology, which I know is getting bigger. However, it's a subscription thing, and it's mostly on the cloud. This is baked into my computer. I believe AstroGold's somewhere around $300. It's a professional software. It has all of the tools that I need. Things I don't like about it, I think it's ugly. I think it's so hideous and disgusting. I would call it Astro Mustard and not Astro Gold. It lags in a lot of ways. Again, not to go too deep into it, but there's a lot of things I don't like about this software, but it's what I use because it integrates with Mac, and it also integrates with my phone, so I can save all of my charts from my professional software to the phone app, and it works very seamlessly. There are, places that I think it can improve, but for what it is, in my opinion, it's the best astrology software out there. It's better than SolarFire, which is, also only exclusive for Windows. But this is only exclusive for Macs, and I kind of like this better, and I think it looks better. So that actually brings me to a little bit more of my weekly horoscope. So I used to do a lot of videos like this, but now how I do things is I now do a green screen setup. And so I want to go into a little bit how I do this. So really what is fundamental here is, having a Mac computer. Of course, you might have figured out by now that this is a Mac computer setup, which is kind of important. And I used to never be a Mac person. I used to only be Windows. However, I've found that the workflow and the integration with all of this stuff and the ecosystem it saves me so much time and stress that it's worth whatever price, I have to pay to make, not only the best videos, but the easiest videos that, I can do sustainably. But what I do in my weekly horoscope is I make a keynote lecture. And so I have these keynote slides here, and, I go through and I change them and I edit them. I go onto the AstroGold app and I take a screenshot and I lay it on there. But what I do is I then go file and I export it as images. And what this does is I have this saved as weekly horoscope outline. And if I export it as images, what ends up happening is that it goes straight to my desktop. So it goes onto my desktop, then there's a file on my desktop called weekly horoscope outline. And so when those images get exported to that file, again, on the scenes, this is what I was referring to a moment ago, the scenes in my Ecamm Live file get automatically updated. So then all I have to do is export the images and then get my green screen thing set up, and then I can just click the buttons and it's already there. It saves me so many hours. It saves me so much time. It's insane. Now, what's also important about Keynote, and this is where it gets really crazy, is if you've taken my course online before, on my website, you can go to How to Read Your Birth Chart. I do a small course on, again, how to read your birth chart. What I use is a iPad. Now, I use the 12-inch iPad Pro. Really overkill, but this has really changed the game in how I do my presentations, because what I can do is plug my iPad with a Thunderbolt cord, and this is why I got the Pro. This is really specific because, and I think all of the iPads come with a USB-C now, but I use a Thunderbolt cord because now I can connect it to my Ecamm and watch this. Now we're using my iPad as a screen, and now my iPad is here. So let me flow through, and let's just pull up Keynote real quick. So let's go to the weekly horoscope outline. And the reason why I got the iPad is so when I do online presentations, let's just do play here. Let's say, and watch, with Ecamm, I can also do this too. I could zoom in a little bit to where it actually goes full screen. But what I can do now is draw. So on my presentations, you might have been able to see that, let's see, can I do this? There we go. So now, now this is my iPad screen with my camera on top of it. And now I can draw over my lecture slides. This is incredible. I bought the stupid Apple Pencil, total ripoff, but it is what it is. And what's nice is that I can go through these slides. Actually, let me go back here. I can go through these slides and then circle and underline and do all of this stuff which makes presenting, my lectures super, super easy and seamless. Absolutely amazing. You do have to get the iPad for it. You don't really need, again, as long as it has a USB-C cord, that's what makes it easy to connect. I think you can do it still too with the lightning cable. But so that's how I get my lectures done. I create them on Keynote, and then on Keynote, I can just hit play, go through it on my iPad, have my camera on top of me, have my audio connected through it as well, and draw over it. It is, again, this has taken me years to figure out. I'm giving you guys like literally 6 years of figuring this shit out myself, and it makes it so easy. So now, if you've seen my latest weekly horoscopes, I have a green screen set up, and I want to talk a little bit about that real quick and going into the process, because this took me a long time to learn too. The first thing that I do, as you're going to see in this fast little reel, is I drop the green screen down. This isn't the best setup because in your green screen, you don't want a lot of wrinkles. That creates shadows, and that confuses the processor of what is green and what is not green, right? And so my setup is a little janky, but I drop the green screen down, and then I have my one key light that is on my computer. And then as you can see, I set up another key light. These are called key lights, which means these are the main light sources. There's a lot of different types of lighting out there, but these are going to be your main sources. So I set up 2 key lights because lighting is very, very important for green screen. You have to not only light up yourself, the subject, but you also have to light up the green screen separate from the subject. And the way that you do this is, as you can see, I have this little panel light that is attached to this, coffee table right underneath this key light. And that panel light goes directly to the green screen. It actually doesn't go on me. And so it lights up the green screen separate from me, so I don't cast shadows on the green screen. And then I walk over and then I set up what is called a rim light. As you can see, this light here in the corner, this is supposed to go behind me. And as you could see in my weekly horoscopes, I have this kind of edge light or this light around me that creates the shadow. What this does is separate me from the background. So when the camera and the green screen stuff is all working together, it could figure out, who I am and, compare me against the green screen and separate me from that. It also creates a really beautiful effect. But then what I do is I set up the green screen, I set up the lights, and then I go to my computer, I put the camera up. But what's more important is then I have this TV here. And so as you've noticed in my weekly horoscopes, I can look, it looks like I am looking at my screen, right? And then I'm able to point to things. That is because I have this TV set up here. And this is how weathermen kind of do their style. But I take my computer and I add another display. This is all over Bluetooth, by the way, so there's no wires here. But I add another display and I pretty much export my screen to there. So then when I'm on Ecamm and I'm going through these slides, I can see exactly what is being recorded, and I can just point to all of the astrology transits that I want to. For a green screen setup, the way that I do it, having that external display, and this is just a cheap TV, it's not really important how nice of quality is going to be one of the most important things when it comes to just being able to look like you're looking at, what the graphics are doing. So then also in this green screen setup, the second key light I use, this is a Amaran 200D. It's the same thing as this other one, but it's a little bit beefier. It has a little bit more brightness. And I believe it has what is this called? A Godox softbox. I believe this was $100. And I actually really like this softbox more than I like this softbox. It was way easier to install and it looks a lot cleaner. But that's pretty much it. That is my YouTube setup. I like to call this my battle station. I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and get a little bit more behind the scenes stuff. Let me know what you guys think. If you have questions about any of the things that I use, please ask me below. I'll do my best to get back to them. But thank you for checking it out.